This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Ahmad Saleem. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Really good. Yeah, doing fantastic.
It's a great pleasure to connect with you. What part of the world are you in right now?
So I'm currently in Perth, Australia, in the middle of our summer, which is a fantastic time in this part of the world.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history.
I guess that's an interesting question. I guess, in my opinion, I think this is a question probably better served by someone else answering it. But if I had to answer it, I would say that, the thing that really brought me to you or to linked with you is the fact that I'm quite curious about trying new things and learning new things. And coupled that way that I love conversations with new and different people. So, I think this format that you have is perfectly attuned to both of those talents or things that interest me. I guess in some... No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I mean, I'm even more intrigued to hear what you were going to say now. I guess.
Okay. I guess in some ways, I do consider myself as a bit of an explorer, but a poorer version of a real explorer, like someone like Edmund Hillary or things like that. But, I do feel that I do have this kind of compulsion to explore new things and concepts that often drives me. And, and I think that your podcast or the format that you have is excellent for that. So that alone just got me interested in linking up with you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I was about to say, let's dig deeper into that then, like curiosity. Who did you learn that from?
I'm not sure I really learned this from like any specific person or moment, but I would say it's probably an unintended consequence of the environment I grew up in, probably. I moved around a lot when I was a kid. And I guess, being curious about new things or willing to try new things is probably a natural mechanism for being comfortable when you're moving around a lot and being faced with new things, new environments, new people. And I think, this kind of drive of curiosity is something that allows you to find your feet in those scenarios. So in a lot of ways, I think it's just an unintended consequence of how I grew up in my environment.
That's amazing. Now, you are a fellow podcaster, right? I mean, and podcaster means family, family means podcaster. Tell us a bit about your podcast, please.
I guess I work professionally as a geologist working in mineral exploration. So, my job was really to try to find the next mineral deposit in the world. And, out of that, what I got out of that is that really, it's a very, very interesting industry, I think. And one of the things is that there wasn't very many formats where there was a very nuanced discussion about mining or mineral exploration, or even just, I think, the art of exploration itself. So the podcast that we have is called Exploration Radio, and basically we do somewhat similar to the format you have, where we talk to people largely in science, and I think it's because science probably doesn't have a great format to allow people to have casual conversations. And I guess our idea was to kind of start in our industry and have these casual conversations with people about the nuanced ways many different things kind of link together, and then branch out from there. So, we're a very young podcast. I haven't been doing it as long as you have. You're a seasoned veteran. I'm just a rookie right now. But, essentially it was just a conduit to have a conversation with people about different topics and maybe learn something from them.
Mm-hmm. How has it been? Has it been fun?
It's been good. I mean, I think it's been a lot more rewarding than I ever thought it would be. And I think it's always a little bit interesting as well. I don't know if you feel the same, but, if you ever go up to people and say you want to have a chat to them, they always think you have an ulterior motive. But if you go to them with like a like, a faux journalist kind of way or a fake journalist kind of thing, saying that you're a podcaster, I think people are a lot more willing to talk to you. So if nothing else, I think it's an easy way to kind of break the ice with people and get a conversation going.
Well, definitely, yeah. I have experienced that. It really is a great conversation starter. The podcast, it definitely sets you up. I think it as well. I think it immortalizes or it quantifies the content that you'll be sharing. So it's one thing to have a conversation, but to have it be immortalized through iTunes or for however long you host it, right? I think it does have value, though. It has huge value for the individual who's having the conversation as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's always, it's always interesting. Like, if someone told me they wanted to interview me, I would have a different reaction to that than if someone said, I want to have a conversation with you. Conversation is almost like an equal relationship, like I have to put something in and you have to put something in for it to be a good conversation. Whereas interview, I think, is always a little bit of a different transaction where, the person asks the question and you're just there to kind of fill in the blanks. Yes. So, and I think that, there is something in that, I think, about podcasting where it creates a different transaction between two people.
Yeah, I totally agree. The thought bubble that pops into my mind is if I'm interviewing you, I'm seeing a stage and I'm seeing those lights that are on me, right? And all of a sudden,
that's right.
It's nervous. It's nerve-wracking compared to what we're doing here. And I really do not like to do video because of that. There's an intimacy that is created by just listening voice. It's really intriguing. Like, we're only listening to each other, and there's no what you look like. There's no what the room you're sitting in looks like. Yeah, it's just songs, and I'm fascinated by it.
I think that's a really good point, actually, and I think maybe that's the reason behind the success of like the listenership of podcasts as well. Is that you only really have one thing to focus on, so you kind of put all your attention into that to see what people are saying and like how they're saying it. Whereas I think I agree with you. I think on the stage and thing, it's more about the show rather than the content. Whereas maybe in an audio format, it's just really about the content. If stuff you're talking about is not interesting, no one's going to listen to this.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Now, there's a ton of things that we could speak about as well with the mining, which intrigues me. Like one of the primary things I do as well surrounds quarrying, interestingly enough. So, like right now, I'm playing with a handheld X-ray machine. So it's a handheld XRF, yeah? And
yep.
I'm guessing you guys would definitely love that as well, yeah? Have you played with one before?
Yeah. I mean, I'm impressed. There are very few people in the world that would know what a portable XRF machine is, and it's great that I've stumbled on one. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, you should see me today. I was calibrating one. Like, it was really fun, like playing with the curves and all of that. But yeah, we definitely talk about that. Yeah, we definitely connect on that. For now, amazing audience. Again, I'm having a ton of fun. You should have heard our pre-conversation. This guy is amazing. And again, we're speaking live with Ahmad Saleem, and he is the podcast host of Exploration Radio. You can check him out there. Where's another place people can connect with you, Ahmad?
Well, I guess the main one is through our website, but we're also on social media, so you can reach us there, LinkedIn, Twitter. Look me up, and if you have anything to say, please send them through. Happy to have a conversation.
Wonderful. Well, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Ahmad, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I guess it's not probably a single lasting childhood memory I have. I think a lot of my early memories are really the time that I spent with family, and particularly my grandfather. My grandfather was someone that I got along with really well. So I just remember a lot of kind of, almost like Polaroid snapshots of different times with him, at the market and things like that. He used to have this dog. And I just remember, I was going on walks and things like that, and all these little conversations that we have. And I guess that's a lot of what, if I really like cast my memory back to my childhood. Those are the kind of the memories that really stick in my mind.
Well, I guess it definitely connects then. Like, you don't need my help there, right? In terms of you being a great conversationalist, from my little experience here, there's a warmness about who you are. And just like that dog, and I'm guessing the loyalty that exists and then creates that reverberation of love and warmth and conversation. People speak to their dogs more than they speak to people with trust, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But
no, that's right.
It's fascinating that it just feels great to speak with you. And I speak to a lot of people and they're great to speak with as well. But there's just this welcoming in speaking with you. So glad that you got that from your grandfather.
No, thanks a lot. That's very kind of you. And it's the same, I think, like from your point of view, it's, like I said, conversations are two-way streets. If you weren't putting any in, I don't think you'd be getting much out of me either. So.
Love that. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
It's probably a really weird song, but it's a song called The Long Road. It's from a movie whose name currently escapes me. It's a Sean Penn movie, but it's a song by Eddie Vedder and a Pakistani musician called Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. So I was born in Pakistan, so I grew up there. And the movie is Dead Man Walking, Sean Penn and Susan Sarandon, I think, is in it as well. And I guess what I really like, like most of your audience will have known Eddie Vedder, obviously the front man of Pearl Jam. But Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan was quite a important Pakistani musician. It's kind of hard to describe what he actually, what type of musician he was, but his musician is kind of very devotional, Islamic or Arabic music. And what I really liked about the song was that, it was this kind of melding of East versus West, like two people kind of met and, in a lot of ways, even the words of the song kind of talk about, kind of the long road of life and things like that. And that's just something that, always kind of stuck in my mind.
Yeah, it connects to the conversation, right, as well, right? Like even the East meeting West in terms of what you bring to the table, isn't it? Like, it's amazing how that, again, just echoes there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess, it's always it's always interesting, these concepts that kind of cross boundaries. It's not a very traditional Western pop music or rock music song. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan isn't quite typical musician either. But then it's a song for a very Hollywood movie, which is kind of weird because that tends to be really popular culture. Then you have someone like Eddie Vedder, who's a rock musician, singing a song that's not a very rock song. So I think it's just all this kind of, a boundary melding kind of, concepts in that song. And I just always liked it. I don't think I thought about it that philosophically when I was a kid, but
sure.
Now that I look back at it, you kind of see those links and it seems interesting to me now.
Yeah, it's like geology, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I guess it just speaks about maybe on surface, it just seems like a song in a Hollywood movie, but if you dig into it, it probably has a lot of nuance about it that we might miss.
Love it. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Ahmad?
Yep, go ahead.
Ahmad, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to? Hit me yes or no.
And no.
All right. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Do you have children?
No, I don't.
Do you believe in God?
No.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I don't.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes, that would probably be true.
What about screen time, the phone and of the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Way more than 8.
All right, Ahmad, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Ahmad Saleem, what would you say that is?
I guess there's a Japanese proverb which I quite like, which is fall 7 times and stand up 8. And I think that's probably a pretty good metaphor for life.
Love it. It's really amazing how these conversations connect. The one guy, Herb Cloutier, he expressed that his earliest childhood memory was falling off. Well, actually climbing up a tree and then jumping off. Right. And well, he landed and he was okay. He lived as a child. Right. And then another young lady who was before you, the episode before you, she expressed as well something, I can't remember exactly, but she expressed something about falling down and getting up again. And then boom, you dropped the quote. It's really amazing. And again, one is in California, one is in upstate New York, and you're in Australia, right? But it's really amazing. I'm fascinated. Hey, this was such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I just, I guess I'm preaching to the choir here, where I think, the way you're kind of doing this, I think is fascinating. So, I'm obviously talking to your audience, which are probably converted, but I would encourage, I think, people to listen to this stuff because, sometimes it's all these little small Polaroids, like this example that you gave of 3 different people kind of saying the same thing. And I think, there's a lot more connection in that. So I think it's fantastic what you're doing. You've created a format that allows people to connect this way. So I think it's great.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that tremendously. Ahmad Saleem, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.